Hello, Satnam. It's me, Shakti Sundari, and I'm back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. Today we are on Yukti verse 62, and I've just been looking at this sutra for today. It's very interesting to me that I've just realized, I suppose, maybe I already knew it, but these meditations, they cycle between what I would call a more feminine way of meditating and a more masculine way of meditating. So right now we've switched into a more, as I would define it, masculine way of meditating, which is about finding stillness through being physically still and concentrating the mind in a particular way. That's a very masculine way of coming to a state of expanded consciousness. A more feminine way might be through dancing or breathing or connecting to the flow of sexual energy through the body. So this is a beautiful, brief, short meditation practice for today. Yukti verse 62. Linam murni viat sarvam bhairavatvena bhavayet. Tat sarvam bhairava akara tejas tattvam samavishet. And let me read it again. Linam murni viat sarvam bhairavatvena bhavayet. Tat sarvam bhairava akara tejas tattvam samavishet. And here's Lauren Roche's beautiful English translation. Hi, Chazneen. Enter the space inside your head. See it as already infinite, extending forever in all directions. This spaciousness that you are is permeated by luminosity. Know this radiance as the soul of the world. So, our practice today, I imagine that this would work better, although there are no instructions, but from my own experience, I can give some guidance. Although, of course, you can explore, like I've said before, it's not something one needs to be afraid of getting wrong. It's perfectly fine to explore and find your own way of being comfortable in meditating, finding your own way, exploring, tasting, sampling different methods. Having some kind of discipline can really help. But ultimately, you will find your own truth. You will find your own practice. The practice will find you. So here's today's practice. Perhaps you would be sitting, perhaps you would be lying down. Enter the space inside your head. So this means taking our awareness into the center of the physical head, literally. So we imagine that we're taking our awareness in there. Now there are different techniques that you can do to support that. So for example, a lot of the time in yoga, my yoga classes, we focus the eyes here at the brow point. Another practice I've been introduced to is to allow the sensation of the eyeballs falling back into the head or resting back into the head, into the eye sockets. And that allows us to have this sense of sinking deeper inside the center of the head. A third technique that I'm familiar with is to imagine that you're gazing into blackness and just allow that blackness to fill the head space. But any way you do it, and there may be many other ways, the invitation is to enter the space inside your head. As we enter that space, of course, we are also connecting with our upper chakras. We're connecting with our third eye, the point that connects us to infinite wisdom as well as intuition, to the universal mind. We're connecting into the pituitary and the pineal glands, which once our sexual energy is activated and connects at that point, can release a nectar of hormonal substances and liquids that change our mental chemistry and our physical chemistry and take us to a more enlightened vantage point. And we're also connecting to the crown chakra, which is the place where we connect to all that is, to divine source above and beyond. Now, of course, we think of our brain, well, our physical brain is in our head, and often we live our lives from this place, from this thinking place, right? And we sometimes imagine that our whole identity is in here. Of course, that's nonsense. We could become so identified with the mind, which is an aspect of the masculine. And my own belief is that too much of life and too much of the world is centered in the mind right now. We need to bring more balance where the mind and the body, the emotions and the spirit are all integrated as one. So enter this space inside the head. See it as already infinite. Already infinite. So this is taking us beyond the limitation of thoughts and beliefs and identifications. It's beyond that. So that's just like the sort of surface layer. We're going way, 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 way beyond that into, you remember yesterday's meditation was about the vastness of the sky. It's a similar sense of expanding this awareness into infinity. You can see these little hearts flying across the screen. That's lovely. See it as already infinite, extending forever in all directions. So not just front, which is where our eyes look, you know, because we're bipeds with eyes at the front of our body. And that's a wonderful reason why we close our eyes, is that we can then have this concept of space in all directions and in all dimensions. So behind, to the sides, above and below. You know, it stretches out all around us in all dimensions. This spaciousness that you are. So we forget that we are this spaciousness. We forget how big we are. This energy, this consciousness that resides in this limited being is infinite, because that is what the divine is, and we are a speck of the divine. This spaciousness that you are is permeated by luminosity, by light, the radiance of light. Know this radiance as the soul of the world. Just as I talk to you, I'm feeling into that. I'm doing the meditation with you as I'm talking. So even though my eyes are open, I'm in my headspace. I'm expanding into the infinite. I'm aware of the spaciousness. I'm aware of the luminosity. And it fills my entire being with a whole different quality of awareness, a whole different quality of being. I can feel the light, the luminosity entering my being from above. I can feel a tingling above the crown of my head. It's almost as if the physical head opens up and there's this kind of portal to the beyond that opens up and connects me in this higher sense. Know this radiance as the soul of the world. And in that experience, there's also then the knowing of connection with everything and everyone. If only we could, if only I could, and if only we could, all of us, remember this at all times. How different life would be for us, and how different our relating would be if we were able to remember that we are the radiance that is the soul of the world. So that's today's beautiful practice. Let me know how you get on and enjoy being in that luminous, spacious place. And then join me again tomorrow for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. Sat Nam and much love.